There we go. Hello, everybody. It's Fight Club Hobbs. Welcome to another wonderful episode of GVN Live. I am your host, as always, and with me is Celadon and Mr. Mark B. Writing. And how is everybody doing today? We'll start with you, Celadon.
I'm good.
Yay!
It's been a rough couple of days, though. Let me tell you.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of news blowing up in the world these past couple of months, and a lot of stuff blowing up over the weekend and still going in regards to wrestling. Jesus Christ.
Fuck Joey Ryan. Fucking,
oh, yeah.
Fuck you, eat my ass, fill my hole, you fucking rapist piece of shit.
By the way, we are now live streaming for the first time on Facebook, so viewer discretion is advised if this is the first time you're watching this show.
But yeah, no, Joey, like, there's been a lot of people I have had to fucking contend with that. Like, I gotta be honest, one of the people that I consider to be a friend of mine, not like a great friend, but like somebody I was friendly with, Brandon Stroud, got called out in that situation, and having to compartmentalize not compartmentalize, but sort of dissect the idea that somebody who you respected as a writer and as a content creator in that space hurt a lot of fucking people is like, it's not great. And like, I mean, I obviously, like, I it doesn't fucking come even close to what the people who have been hurt by him had to go through. I want to be clear, but like, it's just, you know, you're very much in the situation where this person that you thought you knew is a fucking monster. Mm-hmm. And I'm still just kind of trying to wrap my head around that. Like, I mean, you know, honestly, I hope that the site that he writes for with Spandex at Uprocks eventually, like, deals with it in some meaningful way at all. Hopefully they will appoint somebody else to be the lead writer there. Maybe they'll just close the vertical altogether. I don't know. But yeah, it's not fucking great. And but then, like, you know, like the rest of the wrestlers who have been called out about it, I don't fucking know any of those people, so fucking eat shit. They're all bastards.
Yeah. I'm not in the mood to defend anybody, but there's an interesting podcast that came out from Cornette.
I have not listened to that yet. I'm sort of trying to gird myself on it.
He doesn't really give a definitive answer until the very middle of the podcast. Pretty much he says, this person's a nobody. This person made a fake account. Me and the wife, we fool around. We don't do anything or exploit anyone for any reason, especially for a push. And if someone's going to try and exploit that and attack me, you know what? Go to hell. That's what he was pretty much saying.
My core argument on the situation is, as far as that goes, without having listened to it, you know, Jim Cornette was definitely at various points in his life in a position of power as a wrestling promoter, and does not seem to get the idea of, like, power privilege, white privilege, things of that nature to the extent that other people do. So, like, he I think probably does legitimately believe what he's saying, in that he probably believes that he didn't do anything wrong. He just approached people that he thought would be interested in fornicating, And like they agreed because he was fucking in charge of the promotion that they were working in. He was in charge he had a position of power over them. What the fuck were they going to do? Say no? So it's very much a case where like probably a lot of these people, if not all of them, felt pressured to do it because what are you going to do? Tell your boss no? So like maybe he legitimately believes that these people wanted to do this just because they were into that kind of thing, and they deeply were not. And the fact that it sounds like he isn't really taking any time to reflect on this is consistent with Jim Cornette as I've come to understand him over the past like several years, and is very much a reason why I stopped following him in any meaningful way on social media. And I still very much look at it from the perspective of he probably didn't do anything. Like doesn't think he did anything wrong, I'm sure, and to his mind that's correct. But maybe listen to the people who were victimized by you fucking piece of shit. And like that's all I have to say about it.
Okay, moving away from wrestling now because honestly I am burnt out. I'm probably not going to watch any wrestling for the next couple of weeks. Yeah. I want to watch AEW tomorrow, but I'm probably not going to. So on today's program, we're going to be talking about the PlayStation 5, which is kind of funny considering, the announcement happened 2 days after our last podcast. Wonderful timing, right? And then we're going to be talking about Billy Mitchell. He got his high score records reinstated in the Guinness Book of Records. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. That'll actually be our first topic of the night. And then we're going to be talking about, of course, the more recent news, kind of dropped today. Mixer going bye-bye. And by the way, no, I did not have a Mixer channel, and that's why I'm streaming on Facebook. I just thought, you know what, maybe I should try Facebook for once and see how that works out. So, that's what we're going to be doing today. Anyway, to start things off, though, I did say, how you doing, Jen? I omitted you, Mark. So how are you doing? What have you been playing?
Nothing.
Awesome. Moving on.
I do want to say I have been developing a tabletop campaign for my friend Spencer, MPI, friend of the channel, Mr. Pure Instinct, and a bunch of his friends to run over on his channel, twitch.tv/Mr. Pure Instinct. We run it every Monday, starting from about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time until everybody gets tired, which generally tends to be around midnight. It's been really good, honestly. I have not run a tabletop game outside of like a little bit of Werewolf in a while, so the idea of being able to run a vampire campaign is great. And being able to run it for people who are legitimately excited to be there and legitimately enjoy being a part of it is just a lot of fun. Actually, I lied. I did play Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines on stream this weekend, and that was fine. The game is still broken as shit, and I still love it with the Fire of 1,000 Suns. But it's still broken as shit. So viewer beware, etc. Also, I do want to take the note to say that I do know that Celadon has changed her name. I'm still gonna fucking call you Jan. Sorry.
It's fine. I don't care.
Yep.
Like, you guys are more than fine. Like, I go by Stella. I go by Jan. Like, those are the names that I go by here.
Because we're family.
So. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be fucking family with me. I fart.
I mean, I do too. What's your point?
I feel like I could fucking gas out a room worse than you.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, Jan, you told us that before the show started you wanted to talk about something before we get to the Billy Mitchell thing, so the floor is now yours.
So, here's the thing. I usually don't like grandstand or soapbox about a bunch of stuff because that's not really my style, but over the last day or two, some like really disgusting shit has come to light about people in the VTubing community. Specifically the English VTubing community, and I really I don't want to like try to profit, or I don't want to try to like grandstand about it, but I'm simply just gonna say just a couple of quick things about the whole fucking situation. One, obviously, you can tell I have changed some of the things that I go by online, and part of the reason is because of the connotation of the word loli. In traditional Japanese culture, Lolita is a gothic style of the kawaii culture. It's used for dress and a lifestyle that is generally considered to be more cutesy than the norm. There's a lot of lace, a lot of frills, a lot of gothically inspired items to it. However, there is also a darker side to that, which is known as lolicon, which is much more of the perverted concept of Lolita, which is taking children or those who look like children in a very sexual manner, which is not anything that I either condone or that I personally am willing to associate with. However, that does not necessarily mean that I'm going to be changing how I look or how I act. My look is very specific. It is much more akin to, and I don't mean to use it as a derogatory term, but it is much more akin to neat culture. NEET. No, it basically stands for not educated, employed, or in training.
Basically, it means you're a fucking home dweller.
Yeah, basically. The Japanese word for it is hikikomori. Or
yes, have you seen the anime My Sister Umaru-chan, or seen No Game No Life or something like that? It's that.
Yeah. So the concept of the character is supposed to be that, and that's what I tend to portray mostly, is just to hang out, chill, play games, and not really do much outside of the house, because that's not really my thing. But the last 24 to 48 hours have kind of exploded over a fairly popular VTuber in the English community on Twitch, as it came out that they are, in fact, a genuine pedophile. It hurts a lot, because this person was being very kind to a lot of people on the front, as a front, I would assume at this point. They've been radio silent for over 24 hours at this point, which is very damning and very telling of the fact that the evidence presented was, in fact, most likely true at this point. Between a large amount of photographic evidence, as well as 4 separate testimonials and 2 separate videos of these specific actions, it's disgusting, it's wrong, it's awful. It left a bad taste in a very large amount of the community's mouths, and it kind of sucks that it had to be this specific person, especially because they were giving a platform for other VTubers who were either lesser known or were relatively newer in the English VTubing community, a place to sort of be interviewed and have a conversation, not just with her, but also with a fairly sizable chunk of the fandom within the EN community. And it really hurts to see that not 24 hours removed from her 11th episode of this show, this information comes out and is brought to light. I personally don't agree with what it is that has sort of transpired on Twitter and social media in general in terms of how specific people reacted. Obviously, those who were disgusted made call-out posts, lots and lots and lots of call-out posts. I'd say probably 3, maybe 4 hours worth of my timeline's time was devoted to call-out posts and general open shunning of this individual. And I feel like I personally had to address sort of my name and my position on it for a short period, of which I will probably also say something again tomorrow on my channel when I go live tomorrow on my stream as well. But I kind of just wanted to get it out of the way right now because I kind of feel like I have to. I had made the decision a few months ago to rebrand as Loli Rose, which is obviously short for Lolita Rose. However, the negative connotations that seem to be arising and the fact that I feel like that isn't really what I'm aiming for, I've decided to simply just go the traditional VTuber route and rebrand simply as just Celadon Channel. It's the name that I tend to go by more often. It's I wouldn't really say a rebranding so much as it was just sort of a reintroduction of who I am and what I'm doing on stream and what I'm personally all about. So I figured it was a good time as any to sort of basically say, yes, I understand and I acknowledge that this is a disgusting thing that's come to light about a person who was grooming others, and it's just not acceptable. And it doesn't matter who you are or what part of a community you are of. If you support that kind of shenaniganery, then you can unfollow me and get the fuck out of here, because I don't want to deal with a person like you, because that's disgusting, and you shouldn't ever deal with children, minor children, in that capacity, ever. Like, ever. And if you are trying to do something like that, then you're not a friend of mine, because that's disgusting. So, anyway, that being said, that's kind of my spiel. Like, it's gross, it's disgusting, and anybody that decides that that's a thing that you're going to do, and then trying to blame your quote-unquote past trauma on something like that, but yet you continue to do it in a public way, and then try to hide yourself behind a bunch of other stuff, it's like, you're not a victim. You are not a victim. That is all I can say about that. If that's what you're trying to do, that's not what that is.
Okay. I'm glad you got that off your chest, Jan. All right.
I mean, I agree 100%, just because, like I said, watching the people who have been accused everywhere attempting to pretend to apologize has just been, like, deeply fucking frustrating. And then watching these people either go radio silent after they've been called out, or deleting their Twitter in some cases is frustrating. Like I'll be the first person to say, I have been a bad person in my life. Not anything that would get me canceled on Twitter, but I've done things I'm not proud of, and I think everybody is the same. And you got to be able to own that shit. I have, treated friends of mine badly during periods of my life. I have been miserable and taken that on other people for, like, at various points, I should say. And you have to be able to admit, I did what I did. That sucks. I shouldn't have done it. And, move on instead of fucking hurting people. Like, I still fucking apologize regularly to all the people that I've hurt that are still my friends. And, like, while we collectively have sort of decided, like, I've grown, I'm a better person, blah, 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 whatever that bullshit is, I'm never going to stop apologizing for it.
I don't understand why my Facebook chat app isn't working properly. I'm sorry if it's suddenly, like, taking away from this very special moment right here. But no, what you're saying was absolutely right, Mark. And what you're saying, Jan, is a very important thing that needed to be said. That's just a bunch of shit that really should not be happening, especially in a community that's growing as fast as what you're a part of now with the virtual YouTubers.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, we'll talk on that in a little bit, Lowest. We'll talk on that in a little bit. But first, let's talk about something a little bit more cheerful. Our good buddy, Billy Mitchell, after a 2-year battle with the Guinness Book of World Records, has finally got some of his records reinstated. And those records include having the first perfect score on Pac-Man, having the highest score of Donkey Kong, excuse me, the highest score of Donkey Kong 4 times between the years of 1982 to all the way up to 2010. And it was originally alleged that he was using an emulator regardless of having a witness there to watch him, saying, oh, they noticed a timing difference or something was off in the live video that he recorded of him playing the game and whatnot, and that went to lead Guinness Book of World Records to revoke his, records from their records.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if it's because he's actually come up with any substantial evidence or whatnot, because it doesn't seem like it. All he has is, I have video evidence and I have a witness. That's all his argument has ever been. Or maybe it's the fact that the people at Guinness just decided, you know what, we're tired of this, we'll just give it to you. So he has been reinstated, and when it comes to stuff like this, like, why to Billy Mitchell is this so damn important to have records for playing video games to be kept and reinstated in the Guinness Book of World Records? Like, yeah, sure, video games, for some people mean a lot when it becomes a way of, making a living, with people like, my lung capacity sucks tonight. When it comes to, making a living for members of the FGC or in the esports community, for their Overwatch teams and whatnot, people who make a living off of this stuff. But for Billy Mitchell, it's pretty much just more or less to him just, glory. And I don't exactly understand why. Does he feel like his name has no respect on it or something? Is that what this is all about? Like, is it really just him feeling like he's not being treated properly or with any form of respect? Jan, what do you think?
It's hard to say. I know a little bit about what kind of is going on with a lot of this, but I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that there are always going to be some people who are worried that it's not truly authentic when it comes to video games. A lot of times you see something like this happen more often in, say, like the speedrunning communities. You'll get people that are looking at your runs under an eye of kind of ridiculous scrutiny in most cases, especially for a lot of older games, because obviously emulation is a very popular way of being able to play these games. So, you get, accused of, oh, was it a task? Was it a tool-assisted speed run? Was it multiple save states? Was this something that you actually did in one run versus something that you had to, reset, 15 or 20 times to get the perfect run? It also comes down to, especially nowadays, in the last decade or so, video technology has gotten so much cleaner and so much easier to edit in certain capacities that you see these kinds of things and you're just like, oh, that's probably clipped, or that's cut, or that's spliced footage and it's not real. Sometimes people go out of their way to try to find that kind of content and look at it and go, oh, this is probably fake versus this is real. I feel like that in certain circumstances, having a way to guarantee that the video you're currently looking at is valid has become more and more of the norm. And I don't know that this is a jealousy thing. I feel like this is more of just I think they wanted to make sure that they were all legitimate because of increasing standards in how world records and speedrunning and game playing are for specific genres or specific games. There are multiple different groups that are out there, but there are only one or two specific groups. And again, this specifically relates to speedrunning as a whole, but there are a specific set of groups that are the only ones that you can submit runs to because they are officially noted as the official source of making sure that these runs are legitimate prior to them stating that this is in fact the new record. So I don't know that this was Guinness basically trying to say, yeah, no, these aren't legitimate. It was more on like, we just want to make sure that what you've got is legit. Now that we have better technology to actually look at this video, we have to make sure that the video you've presented is in fact legitimate, and then kind of take it from there.
Now,
so I feel like this kind of feels like that more than anything, honestly.
well, here's the thing, though. I mean, they removed the score mainly in regards to just the fact that they were uncertain about the claims that were being made by the people who were saying that Billy was not using actual arcade hardware, and all they had to go on was the video footage that Billy himself provided. Which, right. I mean, at the same time, you got he said, she said. So, in hindsight, was there really any point in even removing his scores to begin with, considering the fact that you couldn't exactly disprove him other than the fact that somebody else said, hey, I noticed this absolute frame-perfect mistake, or whatever the guy said. He said he noticed a timing issue or something, like a specific frame of animation timing issue. But for all we know, that could have just been like a hiccup in the video that was been taken.
Well, and see, that's what I'm getting at. Especially, okay, so there's a couple of relatively famous runs that have occurred over the last decade or so of other games, where most notably Super Mario Brothers, where certain people would submit videos, and those videos were obviously spliced, but to an untrained eye, you never would have noticed. It just looks legitimate. But people know what the current record is for a perfect run because of pixels and subpixels and a bunch of jargon that I'm not going to get into for speedrunning in general. But the concept is, though, that when the video itself are presented, they're presented in such a way that they look legitimate, but there are obvious telltale signs. A pixel hiccup is not going to be one of them. An actual timer hiccup, that's a completely different story. The problem with games like Pac-Man and Donkey Kong is there's no timer. There's no way of knowing specifically where you're actually going to be in that video, except for the actual animations of specific sprites on the screen at that time. So if they notice a pixel aberration, that is different because physical arcade hardware has chips and pieces that can rust and corrode and fail. So a physical aberration in the actual video of the game can occur. Whereas in software, in emulation, it generally won't. And so, right, exactly. Like, it can, but it's so much more difficult to see an emulation hiccup over a physical hardware hiccup, because a physical hardware hiccup is going to create an aberration. It's just going to be part of it. But it's going to be an aberration that occurs every single time you do that game. It'll appear in the same place at the same time every time, because that's how the hardware was encoded. Because the physical arcade hardware doesn't have RNG built into it. There's no like actual randomness to how the physical software itself is actually going to be generated, because it's always loading the exact same information every single time. The difference between that and emulation is that emulation can be manipulated to modify or to create what's called a seed. It can be randomized. And that creates a completely different game, or a completely different playthrough of that game every single time. Like, there are versions of games, like, for instance, one of the most notable ones that I can think of off the top of my head is Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. There's actually a way to randomize it through emulation so that every time you go to a dungeon or every time you open a chest, it's a different item than what's technically supposed to be there based on the software's original programming.
Oh, the randomizer program?
Right. Arcade hardware doesn't have the ability for you to do that. So it's not going to be as smooth, and it's not going to be as capable of showing those aberrations, except if there's a physical problem with the hardware, because the hardware is trying to call for a specific sprite at a specific point, and if it doesn't have a full connection, part of that sprite or part of that call out to that sprite isn't going to function the same way as it would as if it was software emulated.
Okay. So I actually had a friend several years ago attempt a speed run. Unfortunately, he did it on emulation software. He was doing Dead or Alive Plus, and he did the fastest time.
Mm-hmm.
He submitted the video, and they straight up told him, "Yeah, you told us you were using emulation. We cannot accept this." And it seems like the majority of content that's being submitted for video games are usually just videos that are provided by the speedrunner or the score taker or whoever's running the game, and then they submit it. It doesn't seem like, there's someone from Guinness that is officially in person there to witness this, to be like, a witness or whatnot, as opposed to like other Guinness World events are always going to have a member of the Guinness, crew
Right.
there, as opposed to someone doing it for video game reasons. So that makes it kind of more complicated to,
That's the thing, though, is that I am of the understanding that anything that is officially supposed to be in the Guinness Book of World Records, you will always have a member of the Guinness staff as a witness to prove that the videos are, to prove that the content and that the record is in fact legitimate. So I don't, that argument seems to be relatively invalid, because my understanding is that Guinness is very, very particular about making sure that an actual Guinness witness is on site for those records to occur. Now,
and I mean, according to the information from when he was originally stripped of his score, they did have someone in place to watch him do both Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. Not a Guinness representative, but a Twin Galaxies representative, which is their go-to organization that they did deal with as it relates to, grading this sort of thing. The core point here is that the only Twin Galaxies person on hand was a guy named Todd Rogers, who also had his scores removed around the same time when it was found out that the scores that he got were literally impossible for a game dragster. So, they did have someone on hand, and that person, by evaluation of the folks from Twin Galaxies, was probably talking out of their ass.
Yep. So then, what is the best course of action you can take in order to prevent situations like this again? Whether it's, actually having a member of Guinness there to witness it, have stricter rules in regards to having, is this emulation, is this not? Like, is there anything that needs to be done beforehand to prove that you're playing on actual hardware? What are your thoughts, Mark?
Well, I mean, it shouldn't be. I don't know the specific physicality of an arcade cabinet, how difficult it would be to open it up for maintenance and things of that nature, but it would stand to reason, to my mind, that the easiest way to check this sort of thing would be to have a person from whatever representative they're ultimately utilizing. I don't know if Guinness still works with Twin Galaxies, considering that they have ultimately chosen to dissent with Twin Galaxies on this world record. That's probably in question at this point. But whoever it is they're ultimately using this for, just fucking open the cabinet and look.
Yeah.
I mean, that being said, it's easier and easier to emulate shit even at this point. Like, you can fucking put Donkey Kong on a tiny ass Raspberry Pi and like stick it in the inside. But at the very least, like, opening the cabinet and looking, gives the person doing it a certain degree of acknowledgement that it is probably not emulated. Beyond that, using Twin Galaxies or whoever sponsored hardware to do it would also be, I think, a good way of doing that sort of thing. So like, I don't know what hardware Billy Mitchell ultimately utilized, but if it was hardware that was designed to allow for MAME emulation or something of that nature, it was almost certainly hardware he personally had access to before doing this. So
Right.
the logic goes, maybe make it so that if somebody wants to say that they got the high score on something, make them play on neutral territory. Make them play somewhere where that the physical version of the game that you're using is the one
The original
that
hardware, not emulated hardware.
Send them to a
Correct.
barcade.
Well, again, some of those games in barcades are not original hardware.
Yeah,
because a
most of
lot
them are
that
on
original
like
hardware-
emulation now.
Yeah.
Right, a lot of those are on much simpler, much easier to maintain and cool hardware. So being able to play the original Pac-Man, being able to play the original Donkey Kong on original arcade hardware with the board being as large as an actual, like, most arcade boards from the late 80s, early 90s are about 20 to 30 inches in length. They're large chunks of motherboard attached to cooling fans and wiring and chips that are just attached. And the connectivity to the monitors and to the controllers and stuff like that is all very analog. In its look. You look at it and you go, yes, this is original hardware. This is not a Raspberry Pi. This is not emulation hardware running 150 different games off the board. It wasn't miniaturized for compartmentalization. It wasn't meant for anything other than to be that one game on that one console board on that one stand. So to look at the hardware and open it up and look at it, you would know almost immediately if it was original hardware or if it was emulated hardware or something that wasn't original arcade hardware. The same thing could be going for, like, it a lot of this also kind of stems into, like, for instance, the argument within the FGC. Is it okay to use a hitbox versus an arcade stick? Is it okay to have directions mapped to buttons instead of just the joystick? Does it provide some form of unfair advantage to one person over the other if they're using a controller that's been modified specifically for use with that game? It's a very gray area when it comes to a lot of that stuff. But when it really comes down to it, if the category for the world record is fastest, best run, highest score, whatever, on original hardware, then you should be doing it on original hardware, and it should not be very difficult for you to send a representative from your organization or a trusted third party who then would report back to state, yes, it was, or no, it wasn't.
All right. Oh, ooh, what's this you gotta say? Lois has a lot to say today. It's good. Audience participation. We love it.
That is something I actually wanted to address. We're kind of in a situation now where, as games get older physically, it's going to be harder to get an actual Donkey Kong board or an actual Donkey Kong Jr. board that works, because CRT TVs are not in manufacture anymore. So, like, does using like an LED TV or flat panel or whatever meaningfully impact the play of the game? Can you meaningfully reproduce the effect of playing Donkey Kong in emulation? Because in another 10 or 20 years, you may not be able to find anything but a reproduced version of it. And I think that is definitely a conversation that needs to be had. I don't know, because, like, the thing that's really frustrating here is that there's direct evidence that Mitchell played this on an emulator or by some other disallowed means, and they're indicating that there's evidence that the score was falsified in some way, shape, or form. But at what point do we say, well, emulators have to be allowed, because, like, how many functional versions of Donkey Kong still exist in the world? you know,
Right.
and that number is going to get lower and lower as time goes on, and the equipment needed to keep these sorts of things functional is just not available
It
anymore.
doesn't exist as much as it used to, 10 or 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's very much a case of, there has to be a point where the world record type folks acknowledge either that they acknowledge that it was played on emulation but monitored by one of their people, or we're just going to eventually no longer be able to have these sorts of scores anymore because eventually just the hardware's not going to be fucking available. That said, I do actually want to take a moment to just note, did you look over the whole Guinness reinstates Billy Mitchell's Donkey Kong Pac-Man records article from Ars Technica? Did you see the fucking end where they reached out to the CEO of Twin Galaxies about the fact that Billy Mitchell has a lawsuit against them for the fact that they still haven't, the Twin Galaxies itself is still not reinstated his score?
Yeah, I think that's funny.
The entirety of Jace Hall's response was just the Kermit drinking tea meme. That is some fucking king shit right there. That is epic tier. That is epic tier shit posting right there.
Hilarious.
And like here's my thing 100%. Mitchell can fucking kiss my ass. I don't give a shit about fucking Billy Mitchell as a human being, because everything I've seen about him is that he's a fucking egocentric dick. Like I don't fucking give a shit about whether or not his fucking score gets reinstated, because fuck him, he's an asshole. You know, as it was pointed out, like he has, fucking meager dick energy, and the fact that he has to fucking hold on to the fact that he got a fucking high score in 2010 that somebody already fucking surpassed by this point. It's shut the fuck up, dude. You fucking set the high score of Donkey Kong in 1982 at 886,900 points. Like, that should be fine for you. You set a record on Donkey Kong Jr. at 957,000 points. And here's the thing, like, Mitchell might actually be able to pull off the scores that he got in 2010. It's just, you've already set, like, a shitload of fucking world records. Who fucking cares? And, like, this is also the thing, by the way, this motherfucker is 54 years old. I don't know about you, but as I'm getting older, my skills at games are getting worse. You're gonna tell me at fucking age 44 you're able to get a better fucking score at Donkey Kong than when you were like 20? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? This is giving me a good laugh. So let's move on to other things that gave us a good laugh. How about that PS5 debut?
I know people who like the aesthetic of the console, and I'm not going to be one of those people who shits on the aesthetic of it, because for me personally, I don't have a fucking dog in the fight. If you like the way it looks, that's fine. I don't personally like the way that it looks. Having seen other color schemes, I would rather have the black and red that I saw.
That Spider-Man one was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one was fucking sexy. Great. That was sexy. If they actually make that is the one I'm getting. Yeah. The white and the black one, or the white and the blue one rather, I don't like an all-white console unless it's like my Dreamcast, And even then, the Dreamcast is not a good-looking console. It's compact.
Fuck you! It's a nice console.
It's a fine console. It's not a great-looking console.
The aesthetic of what the Dreamcast was a little clunky.
Like, for me, it's, as a long-term owner of, retro consoles, black consoles hold up better aesthetically, because, they don't stain, so they don't, like, the plastic doesn't discolor over time, and, like, just black in general, to me, is a more futuristic aesthetic visually, so I prefer it. If you like the white on blue, that's totally fine. You're valid. I'm not going to be one of those people that fucking shits on you or says that it fucking looks like a router or whatever the crap. But like, for me personally, I don't care for it. The stuff that they announced that was going to be playable on it was far more interesting to me than the announcement of the aesthetic of the piece itself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
For me, aesthetically, the console itself, it wasn't. I don't particularly care for it. I mean, it's an interesting design. If anything, I just appreciate all the memes that have been coming out around it. And I love every single one of them. My favorite ones to this day are people who actually changed the color of it to look like the helmet for Cell from DBZ. And it being the Tower of the Eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings, which I just love everything that has been coming out about it. And is now being
Kaiba one was great.
Oh yeah. Now it's being usurped, of course, by the baby that's been tossed in the sky way too high by his dad meme, which is now making the rounds on Twitter.
My favorite is the one where you've got 4 of the PS5s carrying an Xbox Series X, like the coffin meme.
My favorite is the one where they have 5 Xbox One surrounding a PS5.
I saw that one too. I had a good laugh.
If I have to explain that to you, you are not online enough, and I cannot help you.
Yeah, the Merryweather comics depiction of them, where she actually like upgrades from the PS4 to the PS5 against Xbox Series X. That's great. Anime waifus.
Mm-hmm.
Is Merryweather Comics the one that does the fucking the comics about yeah, it's the one that does about the Microsoft Edge.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like her.
Internet
I like her. Her
Explorer.
comics are good.
Yeah, totally.
But now, in regards to the PlayStation 5, of course, there's been supposed, leaks about the price based out of, Amazon in Europe. Suggested retail price, of course, being translated to US dollars, is somewhere around close to $550 for the disc-based unit, and about $450 estimated for the disc-less unit. Mm-hmm. So, does that sound about right for you? Because from other news that we're hearing, Microsoft says that pretty much their Microsoft Series S is going to have a price so low that it cannot be undercut, which makes me curious as to what the price gauge is going to be for both of these consoles now.
So, here's my take on this. The baseline is this. The discless version of the PS5 is probably going to be the cheaper of the two, because A, you're not buying an HD 4K Blu-ray drive, which is what the disc version is. So the physical media version is probably going to be $499. The discless version is probably going to be around $399. So the $450, $350 pricing, like that kind of jives with what I'm thinking is what Sony is going to sell at. The PS3 and the PS4 both sold for the first year at a loss for Sony for like a year and a half before either of those two systems broke even remotely even for them. I don't see that changing with the PS5. I just don't.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding, however, is the difference between the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, which is the short, is that the Xbox Series X is built for home gaming. The Xbox Series S is built for xCloud gaming. It will be a cloud-based box. I don't think I like it.
From what I've read, it's actually going to be more. It's going to be the digital box, but it's also going to not include 4K gaming, or streaming for that matter. It's going to actually have a weaker CPU compared to that of the Xbox Series X, which
you mean the half-sized white one?
Hmm.
Have you seen what the S looks like? The Series S?
They haven't shown it off yet.
Yes, they have. It is a half-sized white box, just the same. It's the same look as the black one, but it is half the height and all white.
No.
Yeah, it's the same concept. The thing is that my understanding is that they're touting that the S is built for remote gaming. It's going to be the system that's built for the cloud.
That's a cute little system. It reminds me of the Ouya.
Why? Why would you remind me of that poor, unfortunate cube?
Because that poor, unfortunate cube had potential. And yeah, well, that too.
Right.
Look who you're talking to. I'm the asshole of assholes here.
I thought that was Mark.
Well, no, Mark is just the king of assholes.
Oh, right. I get those confused sometimes. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the goatsy. He's the anal prolapse.
Thanks for coming, everyone.
Have a good night.
If someone's coming after that conversation, don't tell me about it.
Oh dear fucking God.
No, so good.
But no, in regards to like the I wish I could get a virtual audio cable program to work properly so you guys can hear the sound effects when I play them.
Oh no, it all went wrong.
There, I just played another sound effects. Woohoo! Yeah,
Anyway.
they get the chat will get to enjoy that. You guys, on the other hand, are probably wondering, "Oh, Jesus Christ, what the fuck's he playing?"
No, it's fine. We'll watch it when you post it on YouTube later.
Yay!
Yeah, sure you will. Fucking sure you will.
Come on, Mark. She's trying to build up my enthusiasm, you asshole.
Listen, I participated in this shit. I'm not gonna watch it again. It's bad enough I had to be here for it once.
It's okay, Mark. We still love you.
Okay, but yeah, so the PS4 or PS5 is looking rather promising, to be truthfully honest. A lot of the games they showed off were very interesting. Unfortunately, I don't remember any that stand out aside of maybe Horizon 2, which I'm kind of excited and giddy for. But you know what? Let's move on to the next topic, our final topic of the night. And just to remind everybody, yeah, I'm streaming on Facebook for the very first time alongside streaming it to Twitch. And no, I'm not coming from Mixer to stream on Facebook because I don't have a Mixer account. I did have a Hitbox account, which I think became Mixer. I don't remember whatever happened there. But,
I'm pretty sure that's what ended up happening, but at this point, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't matter.
Remember Hitbox.
But anyway, yeah, so in case you've heard the news, Microsoft apparently is dropping Mixer faster than it dropped the Zune, and it's going to partner up with Facebook for Facebook game streaming, and a lot of its partners are coming over. Ninja and Felix are not coming with. Probably going to return to Twitch. Talk amongst yourselves.
Not Felix.
Not
Felix.
Felix.
No.
Who's the other
Ninja
guy?
And
Ninja and Shroud.
Shroud. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought Felix.
Felix is a part of YouTube and has been for a while.
That's right.
Yep, he was doing that thing with D-Live.
Oh, Hitbox is Smashcast. Okay, so there we go.
Does Smashcast fucking exist?
Does it? I don't know. There's so many streaming platforms that nobody fucking knows actually exist at this point. That it
Does Live.com still exist, Mark?
Livestream.com. Okay.
I have no idea.
I know Ustream doesn't exist anymore.
Well, that's because so Ustream got bought out by Livestream.com, and then Livestream.com merged with Hitbox.
I'm scrolling through the Merriweather comics right now, and I got to the "Oh no, she's Scottish" the comic, and
Yay! I love those.
All right, but
get to fuck.
You gonna Pokemon fight me or what, you cunt?
Yeah, I was fucking dropping all of my Scottish fucking slang in chat with my friend Matt, who is in Frame Out Video, and he's just like, your command of Scottish slang is quite appreciated, because he's actually from Scotland. And I was just like, look, I've been friends with Hamish for 2 years, and my mother used to watch fucking Britcoms all the goddamn time. Also, get to fuck is fucking hilarious.
Get to fuck is great. I love it.
Almost as good as come on then, show us your rat.
But back on topic now. So, what is everybody's thoughts on Microsoft's quick abandonment of Mixer, like...
I have so many fucking thoughts on this.
Okay,
So many
Mark.
fucking thoughts on
Please divulge. We're willing to listen.
The first major thought that comes to mind about all of this is if Microsoft has decided to no longer give it an honest go in this marketplace, I feel like becoming a streamer or streaming platform is basically a dead market. This is very comparable to all of the people who have tried to create some type of a YouTube alternative for the past several years, where it basically either becomes a place where you host the kinds of videos that would be demonetized or banned outright by YouTube because of copyrighted material, or you create a service where the people who predominantly sign up for it are the people who have been kicked off of YouTube.
Yep.
So streaming services in general have been kind of coming and going for a while now. You know, we were both on Hitbox for a hot minute. And here's the thing, it's Microsoft was the last great opportunity, I think, for a company that had a significant amount of money to bankroll something like this.
Yeah.
That wasn't Facebook, YouTube, or Amazon. Like, I mean, you know, YouTube streaming is backed by YouTube, backed by Google, backed by Alphabet Corporation, which is just an absolutely massive fucking organization at this point. Facebook streaming is backed by Facebook, which, you know, also owns Instagram and every other fucking thing. It's just straight up a social media corporation. And of course, Twitch is owned by Amazon, so they absolutely have the ability to make this work just by way of utilizing AWS. Microsoft could have made a strong play here, especially thanks to, you know, ownership of the Azure cloud services and everything that nature. So the fact that they bounced on it should probably tell you that
it's
you
either
need
Facebook,
to
YouTube, or Twitch. That's all.
Right. It's you're not going to see anybody else rise up to do this. Now, that said, Microsoft went about it in what I would describe as the worst possible fucking way you could do this. Like, the way Microsoft handled this was bad, and it also taught us what I think is both a good and a bad lesson. So, here's the thing. When Microsoft went into making Mixer, what they should have done was created a service that does what people who use and don't like Twitch want it to do. And this is not an original fucking thought by any means. I'm not taking credit for coming up with this one. If you watch the video that Dan Olson made about one of the YouTube competitors, I can't remember the name of it, like Vtuber or some shit like that, where they were trying to compete. Like, their whole thing was, well, you should reach out to us and tell us what we can do. And no, you should know this already. You should have people who know what it is that people who don't like YouTube want from YouTube. If you don't, and you have already built your infrastructure, you are fairly doomed. So Microsoft approaches the idea of streaming, and the thought they should have had was, what do people who use Twitch or used to use Twitch want Twitch to actually do? Because Twitch is a fucking monstrosity at this point, in the same way that YouTube is a fucking monstrosity. It's a thing that was never meant to be as popular as it is, that has exploded and has had new and shit bolted on top of it instead of them ever fucking redesigning everything on the back end. Because redesigning everything on the back end would be an absurdly expensive... Oh yeah, it would suck. It would be the worst goddamn thing you could do. And nobody's going to do that. So you take the framework of what Justin TV was and you just keep bolting new fucking shit on top of it until it barely fucking works the way you want it to. And YouTube is the same way, you know? Fucking YouTube is still working off of, like, what, a 20-year-old architecture at this point? The behind-the-scenes stuff is designed to take care of, you know, the cloud architecture that they have restoring stuff, but the core framework does not support anything that content creators want. You can't have somebody moderate your fucking channel without giving them your fucking email address password. The fuck is that shit? So, if you're approaching this from the idea of we want to compete with Twitch, your first idea should be, what is it that Twitch is not doing that the people want that we can do? Instead, Microsoft said, let's throw money at fucking Ninja. And let's be clear, throwing money at a famous person, getting them onto your platform is not the worst idea in the world once you have a platform that people actually want to be on. You don't want to try and throw money at a person until you have a platform that people actually want to see. And, going back to our professional wrestling conversation from earlier, like that's evidenced by every time professional wrestlers have changed organizations in some capacity or another. Fucking like Ric Flair goes to the WWF, it has no appreciable impact in WWF business. Ric Flair goes back to WCW, it has no appreciable impact in WCW business. Hulk Hogan goes to WCW, it has no appreciable impact in WCW's business. Macho Man Randy Savage goes to WCW, it has no appreciable, blah, 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 you get the fucking point. Right. When did that actually change? When there was a good framework built on it. When they said, hey, Scott Hall, hey, Kevin Nash, you're going to be invaders, and we're going to write a whole story around this. That was when that mattered. So, you go and you watch AEW at this point, great, Chris Jericho works for them, Dean Ambrose works for them, they're still fucking drawing like a 1.5 or a 2.0 in their fucking time slot, because people don't care about personalities. I mean, they do to a very limited extent, but the Ninja situation very strongly proved that more people are going to be interested in staying on a platform, in staying in an area that they are familiar with, that they are comfortable with, than following a personality. Sure, people followed Ninja to Mixer, but they only watched Ninja. And then they went back to Twitch for the rest of the people that they wanted to watch. They didn't try to find new content creators on Mixer. If Mixer had been built as a better platform than Twitch, a markedly and obviously better platform than Twitch, people would have stayed there. People would have said, wow, this place is great. I love it. I want to be here. And I never, I went over there to follow my friend Fishhook Gaming, Mark, and it was fucking, I did not understand, half of the stuff they were trying to do, and the other half, it's just great, it's fucking Twitch, again. You're not going to convince me if you're not providing a better service.
Right.
So, the thing that's interesting here, though, is that this kind of proved... Remember when we were talking before, months ago, about Dr. whatever the fuck his name is? Or whatever the fuck is. Thank you, Dr. Disrespect. And we were talking about the idea of, if they ban him, he's just going to go somewhere else, and it's going to, hurt their bottom line. Yet Ninja leaving proved that that's not really the case.
Yep.
Ninja and Shroud and somebody else left Twitch. As Kane says, so basically it could have worked had it not been half-assed like most Microsoft side projects. Probably. Right, I mean, there's no guarantee it would have worked. I'm not a business insider. I have no real... I do not have a fucking business degree. I have a fucking information systems degree. So don't ask me to, make those sorts of projections. But what I will say is it would have stood a better chance if they had actually made it a service people wanted. One of the things they probably should have ripped off, remember when Hitbox added in, the ability to have people vote on shit right from the Hitbox channel? Fucking add that shit in. Give me the ability to fucking run polls.
That
my
was a lot of fun.
Channel. Yeah, no, we can't do that. Why? It's a fucking thing people would want. Why wouldn't you fucking add that in? Oh. So I can't say for sure if Mixer would have succeeded. It would have had a hell of a lot fucking better chance of succeeding if it had been, designed in a way that people who don't like Twitch and want Twitch to be better would have found the services there to be more desirable. But
Right.
anyway, the point going back to the other point here is, so now that Ninja and Shroud and the other guy, I don't remember his name.
10K
Kane would
fuck off.
yeah,
Saying
but
like
10K bit rate.
10K bit rate.
The other guy, Gothalion, thank you. Yes, Gothalion.
Yeah.
I don't know
Left.
who that is, but go on.
I don't either, but he mentioned it to me when we were having a conversation, and I didn't know who he was. He's some type of streamer, but like they all left to go to Mixer. Gothalion and Shroud and Gothalion. I don't fucking play Destiny, man. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, he's huge in the Destiny community. Great.
Oh yeah, huge.
Yeah, whoop
Great.
de doo.
I'm big in Japan. What do you want me to tell you? But yeah, Gothalion. So the point is, they all left Twitch and went to Mixer, and that didn't help. I mean, maybe if Microsoft hadn't thrown like a gajillion fucking dollars at them, you're bigger regardless of geographically. Not in the way that counts, my friend. Not in the way that counts.
Oh. No.
But yeah, Japan is the only country where my weenus is enormous. Anyway, so you throw money at these people. Maybe if they had thrown less money at them, it would have actually worked out. It would have actually worked out. But
how'd that work out for Facebook when they offered double what Mixer offered to have them continue the contracts for Mixer on Facebook Gaming? Oh wait.
Oh yeah, no. Like Gothalion said yes, I'll do it, but Ninja has not decided at this time. It's generally felt that he's probably going to go back to Twitch, but we don't know for certain. And
Yeah,
Shroud, by all indications, has straight up gone back to Twitch already.
Yes.
They got their fucking payout and they bounced.
Yeah, Shroud already said.
I mean, he's
no.
walking away with $30 million already, so.
Ninja, yeah. So Ninja was originally offered 30 million from Mixer to go over, which he took. Shroud was offered 10 million, which he took. I think Gothalion took around I think it was between 4 to 5 million to come over as well, which he did. He decided he was going to.
I have the wrong career choice.
Yeah, I'll be honest, dude. I could not be a famous streamer, and there are a lot of reasons I could not be a famous streamer. But I love myself is pretty much the main one. Also, I don't want to fucking hook up a camera because I don't want to subject anybody to my ugly fucking mug. Except for Kane when he fucking comes over for board game night, and at least he gets free pizza out of the whole deal. I don't think it's worth it, but he keeps showing up, so apparently he does. Anyway, the point is, so you get these people as we just rattled off their numbers, right? Gothalion probably got an offer of about 10 million to go to Facebook and said sure.
And wait, didn't he sign with Mixer like literally just? Didn't Ninja sign with Mixer like literally the beginning of the year, or was it like the middle of last year? I don't remember.
What can I say? I like Hawaiian pizza. That's fair.
Oh. I think it's been about a year since Ninja moved over.
Okay.
It was a little bit. It was around 8 or 9 months since Shroud came over.
Right. So the fact that Shroud is going back to Twitch basically says for him it's not a matter of money, it's a matter of wanting to have that larger fan base. And again, yeah, he got like $20 million out of the whole fucking deal already. He's got nothing left to prove. But Ninja's, I think, is the most interesting response because Ninja is the person that should have the biggest chip on his shoulder.
Oh, absolutely. After the absolute shit show of a mishandling of his account after he left Twitch over, I mean,
oh yeah,
promote porn.
Hey, let's put Russian porn on his recommends.
So the fact that he's thinking about what he wants to do, I think speaks volumes about how little of a shit he gives about Facebook. But either way,
yeah. The understanding is that that Gothalion accepted, Shroud said no and will most likely be back on Twitch, and that the possibility of Ninja coming back to Twitch is 50-50 at best. As of right now, he does have the YouTube option, which I could see being a lot more of a positive experience for him in terms of where he could go. Or, and again, the likelihood of this being the truth is probably not, but he may end up just creating his own website and broadcasting directly through his own brand.
That's
Because-
absolutely not going to fucking happen. That's absolutely not
No,
going
and
to fucking
absolutely
happen.
not. I mean, but the baseline is his real options at this point are not Facebook, maybe Twitch, possibly YouTube. And that's pretty much it, because I don't see him. I honestly don't know that I see Ninja coming back to Twitch, though he probably will, because let's be honest, it's where the live streams happen. We've had that discussion before. He doesn't do a lot of catered content. He does a lot of live content. That's what has made him famous. And if he were to change or move away from that to become more of a baseline content creator, which, let's be honest, that probably isn't going to happen, like I said, it's either YouTube or it's Twitch. And the
Yeah,
likelihood
and
is
as
more
Kane has
Twitch
said,
because
his panels are already updated. So
oh well, there you go.
So like here's my thing, right? Twitch proved beyond a shadow of a doubt they don't fucking need Ninja or Shroud or Gathalion in order to survive. And it's not because they have other huge content creators, because they have other content creators, but not to the level of somebody like a Ninja at this point.
Right.
It's because people are just going to fucking stay on Twitch because they know Twitch and they're fine with Twitch. So what you kind of proved is both a good thing and a bad thing when you proved that Twitch doesn't need Ninja or Shroud or Gathalion or anybody else. That has both good and bad implications.
Yeah.
The good implication is, so we've been having conversations off and on for the past year and a half at this point about all of the dipshits that have been on Twitch that do fucking stupid shit where they should have been banned for it. Right?
Oh yeah, we have a list literally.
Regularly.
Half
We have an
half
award
of them
for
make
that
it in.
shit.
Huh?
We have an award for that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Technically two, but anyway. So,
I mean,
Kane and I have had these conversations as well to various extents about people who probably should have been slapped down by Twitch. And the common argument that Twitch made about this sort of thing was, or at least that people implied from Twitch, was, well, they don't want to rock the boat because these people bring in money, right? With the acknowledgement that somebody like a Shroud or a Ninja going away will just mean that the audience will stay here on Twitch and watch other streamers, you can fucking fire Dr. Disrespect tomorrow. You can just be like, look, dude, you fucking, I don't know, what's a reasonable thing, Doctor? You fucking showed your penis on stream. Get the fuck out of here. Or whatever it is that he's likely to do. If they no longer have to feel like we have to put up with Dr. Disrespect. Yeah. We have to put up with Amaranth. We have to put up with Alinity. They don't have to fucking put up with any of these people because the large majority of the viewers that they have will stay on Twitch and find somebody else to watch. They fucking know this already. Now, as Kane says, they won't, but they could. And that is a positive in that it means that if Twitch just decides, we don't give a shit, this person's an asshole, they're toxic, we want them out, they can get rid of them, and they won't see a significant financial impact from it. There is no longer that justification of we have to keep this person around because they bring money, because they bring eyes, because we don't fucking need them. Mm-hmm. We don't fucking need them.
By the way, if you're just tuning in, we're in the final segment of our show for GVN Live. We are now talking about, of course, Microsoft dropping Mixer, and Mark is in the middle of, divulging a little bit about marketing and Twitch. Mark is doing the marketing.
Yes, Mark on marketing. Hi, it's welcome to Mark on marketing, and my name is Hamish Black. Anyway, so
the deliver it like that.
Yeah, no, you'd be like, my name is Hamish Black, and welcome to Mark on Marketing. Anyway, I can't fucking do a Scottish accent. He's gonna hear this later, and he's gonna fucking murder me. He's just gonna fucking kill me.
It's gonna be hilarious because I want to see the video for it.
Anyway, the downside of this is that Twitch has also kind of learned that they don't have to fucking care about the people on their platform because they're Twitch. They're gonna kind of survive no matter what. and people will stay here so long as the service itself works, so they don't have to give a shit about the content creators. And there's a good and a bad thing out of that. The good thing is that they can use this opportunity to elevate smaller channels if they don't feel like being fucking bothered with like their top tier shit. They can just start elevating smaller content creators and trying to drive traffic more universally around the site.
Hey, Twitch, give us a little
they're
love.
Not gonna drive it. They're not going to drive it to us, Robert.
No.
We curse way too fucking much.
Oh yeah.
But they're not gonna, and I'm not going to stop, so don't ask. They're not going to
just don't show your penis. That's all I'm asking.
No, what am I, fucking Dark Side Phil? Jesus Christ. We still remember you, you fuck. We're like the only people who do. But anyway, so you could drive content to other content creators who are new and upcoming, and stop having there be a monopoly on the largest content creators in the sphere, specifically for the purposes of trying to diversify content creators and get a large amount of people impact on the channel. The downside of this is that it essentially tells Twitch that no content creator has as much value as they think they do, which kind of sort of means that it puts all but the largest content creators, and to a lesser extent kind of hurts them as well, when it puts them into a bad situation when it comes to, you know, trying to drive change in any meaningful way. Because Twitch can basically just say, fuck you, you didn't hurt us when you left the first time. Why should we fucking care if you leave now?
I mean, it's the truth. Like, I mean, maybe Twitch at one point was worried about what would happen, but after they saw what happened, I don't think they care anymore. And it's nothing they should be worried about.
Right. So it's kind of a case where they no longer have to worry about keeping problematic Twitch streamers, because it has been proven that those people are not necessarily going to drive the kind of viewership that they thought. But it also means we don't need to give a shit about the people that are making the content necessarily. So it's very much a double-edged sword. The best possible thing that can come of this is Twitch choosing to diversify their content and trying to elevate new voices, specifically for the purposes of trying to get as many of their streamers popular as possible, so that if they do have to drop somebody, it's not a particularly big deal. And ultimately reviewing, you know, their terms of service and making sure that they start enforcing on people who come up with stupid stunts, and, you know, so that they can get the fuck out of here. The worst possible thing that they can do is keep holding on to all of the people who are already making them their money because they're comfortable with it, but enforcing stricter rules on people who are less popular because they don't fucking care. I know which one is more likely to happen, but I do have at least some vague hope that they've realized, at the very least, we don't need to hold on to people who suck. We can let fucking Felix go to YouTube and it doesn't impact our bottom line. We can let Dr. Disrespect go to YouTube and it doesn't impact our bottom line. Right. That is the one lesson, if nothing else, that I hope they've taken away from this, because I really don't want to see them fucking throw like $1 gajillion at Felix to try to fucking get him back in like 2 years.
But, you know, out of all of this, though, going back to Mixer, of course, I want to say probably the biggest downside to this whole thing was the fact that Microsoft made the announcement today. So everybody at Mixer and all the streamers were pretty much just told today, when the decision was made, that they were being shut down. So you guys are shit out of luck, and I kind of hate that, to be truthfully honest.
They told the top partners, so they told Ninja, they told Trell, they told Gothalion, they told a couple of other bigger partners that they had on Mixer the day before they made the announcement. They said, hey, by the way, this is what's happening. And then and then as of yesterday, they basically said literally to everyone, the staff, the employees, the
Zig.
partners, all of the streamers. Yeah, all of this happened yesterday on the 22nd.
I don't know why I said today. I meant yesterday.
It's fine.
Bad hubs.
It feels like yesterday today. But they told everybody else, on Twitter. They didn't even send out an email. They didn't preempt it. They made a snap decision on the day they decided they were going to do it with Facebook. Hey, by the way, we're giving you Mixer and we're giving you all of the stuff for it and we're moving everybody over to Facebook gaming. And they didn't tell anyone until they tweeted it out and said, oh, hey, by the way, Mixer is going to be merging with Facebook gaming. You know, have fun. Thanks for all the memories and fuck off.
Thanks for all the fish.
I absolutely love that they did not fucking tell. Like they told a couple of their streamers. They did not tell any of their actual employees. It's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference.
Yeah, it's a
They were just like, I absolutely love that. That is what a fucking big dick baller move right there. That is like the biggest fucking bullshit. And of course, Microsoft would fucking pull that.
Right.
It's not like they've ever done that before, right?
They're just sitting here pointing at Activision, going, "I learned it from watching you."
You're a bad dad.
No, and then Activision's going, "I learned it from EA."
I think EA at least had the common courtesy to tell people, like, you know,
ahead of time,
a little bit ahead of time, yes, because they don't fucking care. They're just like, "Your dad, whatever, get the shit out of here."
Yeah, the big issue though, and I think this is the thing that's really kind of taking a lot of heat off of Microsoft and Mixer in general. EA Sports, please play $4.99. That's not wrong.
EA, it's got to be paid to be in the game.
EA Sports, it's up your ass.
Yeah, but the thing of the real kick in the ass about all of this is the fact that the initial comments that caused a lot of the uproar that basically was like, yep, no, I'm done, was the fact that there were people in the higher up of the, like, employee base, like those who were, like, managing other people and, like, were kind of running the whole show for Mixer, were like, oh yeah, our partners are slaves. Bro, really? That's a thing you're going to say, and then you're like, not our problem anymore. We don't have a platform. It's Facebook's problem now. Fuck you. And I'm like, wow. Why is nobody talking about that? That's pretty fucking terrible. So, yeah, no, a lot of this stems from the comments that were made, and a lot of this stems from the fact that Mixer was kind of doomed to fail within the last 6 months anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't really being ran well at all to begin with. It was pretty much just like the way Microsoft was running their Zune. They were pretty much playing catch-up the whole time because it was something that showed up years after the fact about something that was already established, and they were just like, oh, hey, we do that too. Look at us. Look at us.
And yet I can still buy a cheap-ass $20 MP3 player that still works better than the Zune from some random-ass Chinese company that closed 6 months ago that's still in some sort of, like, vending machine.
Hey, you shut your whore mouth. That Zune is awesome. I miss my Zune.
Man. It was an awesome paperweight from what I understood.
You never used one, so you don't know. It was awesome. It just sucked that they didn't have Bluetooth.
The heck is a Zune? Okay, so yeah.
I don't think we have all night to be sitting here and going into history lessons.
It's an MP3 player made by Microsoft. That's everything you need to know about it.
Yeah.
You remember MP3s back before we had streaming audio?
Hey, do you remember
Real player?
Yeah. Remember Places?
Okay, you know what? I think that's a good place to end the night right there. We actually have quite an active audience. The first time we've had that in a while, so I thought I'd figure we'd leave it up to like a 5-minute AMA for gaming. What do you guys say? Are you two up to it?
Whatever.
All right, so the floor is yours. Feel free to ask us any kind of question that is appropriate, by the way. Otherwise, Mark is going to bite somebody's head off.
You can ask inappropriate questions. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, Abe. Oh, Abe.
Like I said, I've spent like 20 minutes talking about Turian penises on the fucking show. Like, inappropriate is absolutely my fucking forte. Just don't be a dick.
Okay, question, Mark. Why are you such... Oh, don't be a dick. Darn.
We decided
Oh, Zig. Zig. Oh. Okay, let's see. I'm waiting to see if there's anybody from Facebook that might be interested in asking a question, but they seem to be pretty quiet tonight. And I couldn't figure out why only my chat was able to show up.
How about that D-Live? Fuck D-Live. Can we just all
D-Live.
universally
Fuck
agree that
D-Live.
that was a fucking crypto scam at this point?
Oh, yeah. All it did was put money in Felix's pocket, with whether we like to believe it or not.
How do we feel about Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts? I feel terrible about that because that was a crap game. That was an absolute crap game, and I wish there was an actual Banjo-Kazooie 3 game as opposed to that catastrophe that they released on the Xbox 360. And I think that right there is where Rare, started to disappear from the public eye.
But hey, he's in Smash, so that's okay, right?
Yeah, I don't have an opinion on Banjo-Kazooie. I was never a big three-dimensional platformer player, so I defer to the others in the panel as far as that goes. I yield my time. Fuck you. That was some absolutely big dick fucking energy. I yield my time. Fuck you, and he's got no fucking time left. That's the best part.
Yep. I'm actually kind of excited about both the new Ratchet and Clank and the fact that they're making a Crash Bandicoot 4. I feel like that's actually kind of cool.
Oh yeah, those are really awesome. I'm really happy to. And it comes out in a few months, actually. The new Crash Bandicoot, I think October, right? Is what they said.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exciting. My wife is a big Crash Bandicoot fan, so.
Realm of the Mad God. I love that fucking game. It's like, it's a roguelike MMO. And I think it's like one of the coolest concepts in terms of just like how roguelike works. But that's also because I really like the roguelike genre. So personally, I kind of really like it. But it's like in the later levels, it basically becomes like a bullet hell. So it's not really for everybody.
I have never actually heard of Realm of the Mad God until now, but I like me roguelikes, so I will definitely have to give that one a look.
I'm not a fan of a game built around a roguelike. I prefer the roguelike to be more of a difficulty setting, to be truthfully honest. I just never been a fan of it. I'll take a look at it. I actually just now heard of it for the first time, too, so I'll take a look into it.
It's free.
How many grannies do you think will be watching Fortnite on Facebook now? As many as their kids are streaming on Facebook. Or their grandkids, I should say. Or their kids. I don't fucking know.
Hey, they gotta bump those numbers up to make their grandkids to feel good about themselves.
Yeah, like just looking at it right now, it feels vaguely like it could be, a prequel to Enter the Gungeon. So I'd probably play that.
Speaking of grannies, you guys remember about the Skyrim grandma?
Oh yeah. She actually is taking a hiatus from streaming right now because a bunch of people like.
Actually, no. She actually came out and said it's mainly because of her health. It's not because of any bullying whatsoever.
Oh,
that's what everyone was speculating, that when she announced that she was taking a hiatus, that it was because of like internet trolls and whatnot. And then she replied a couple days later that it's mainly because of her health, and that she might actually be done for good. But hopefully she does come back.
Abe. Why?
Are you guys scared of Facebook moms posting Minion memes during live streams? I'm not scared of my mom posting Minion memes during live streams.
Oh God, don't say it, Mark.
Ooh. Yikes. I don't know. I feel like Facebook gaming is just not a good.
I don't think it's a good platform unless you're just a casual guy who just wants to like. Play with friends.
When it really comes down to it, YouTube and Twitch are really the only two platforms that make a logical sense.
It's really depressing that everybody already knows the answer to that because nobody's asking me why.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You know what? I think we'll end it there now at this point. So, thank you.
It's I was hoping somebody was going to ask why.
Okay, Mark, why?
Because my mother is dead, Jan.
See, it's funny because I already knew the answer to that question. We've had that conversation before.
Yes, I know. The only way she's going to be posting Minions memes is if I fucking hook up Facebook to a Ouija board.
Yikes forever.
Wow.
Can I burn the Luigi board now?
That's
Listen, I love my mother very much, but I very much have to use humor to cope with the fact that she has passed. And she was absolutely the sort of person who appreciated my sense of humor. Like good. I would pick up the dog and I'd just be like, "What are you doing?" And she'd say that and go, "Blasphemy! Blasphemy!" And like for some reason she would just fucking like lose her goddamn shit at this.
All right. Well, I think that's a good place to end it right there. So, Mark, Jan, or Celadon, thank you for joining us here tonight, or joining me here tonight. Everybody on Facebook, thank you for watching. I'll figure out how to get that chat working so, we can talk more. Everybody in the Twitch chat, thank you for all the wonderful comments today. Jan, tell us what you got going on and what's coming up.
Pretty normal, same schedule, Monday through Thursday, 6 p.m. to around 9:30-ish. I kind of had a weird arrangement this week. I did a collab on Monday in PSO2 with Code Emergency. Tomorrow is probably going to go back to Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then Thursday, I'm really not sure what I'm doing Thursday. Maybe probably just like hanging out and relaxing a little bit from things. I might do some like chat-based things. I'm not sure yet. We'll figure it out. This week has been really weird.
Okay, Mark, how about you? Oh, sorry, you were still talking.
You're fine.
Okay,
Mark. No, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay, Mark, what do you got going on?
I am slowly trying to get back into traditional live streaming for myself. So Fridays and Saturdays at this point are predominantly being dominated by me playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines predominantly. I don't know what I will be playing next when I complete that, but I'm sure I will figure out something in some capacity or another. I have probably a couple weeks before I ultimately complete it. Beyond that and doing the show here, I am, as I said, running a live stream of Vampire the Masquerade, the tabletop game, every Monday over at twitch.tv/Mr. Pure Instinct, where I am joined by Mr. Pure Instinct himself, Mallet Editor, Sodomi, Stairbender, Rab TDK, and Ixer. Five of those 6 people are streamers. Ixer just is somebody who is hanging out and wanted to play. And they're actually doing really, really good at it, like the best out of any group that I have dealt with as a role-playing group so far, which is honestly really astonishing to me for a lot of reasons. I'm also running a werewolf campaign, but that's not a thing that I'm streaming, just because I don't know that the people who are involved in it want to be streamed doing it at this stage of things. Maybe at some point down the road I might make it into a podcast or something of that nature if they all agree with it, but we only do that like once every other week. So you sound like you enjoy D&D. I do not. I like tabletop games. D&D is just not my thing. If you like it, that's fine. Like I'm not going to be one of those people who shits on somebody for liking D&D, because there are a lot of people who do that. It's a very elitist mindset to me. Personally, I think D&D is too combat focused for the way I like to write stories. Again, we've been running the Vampire campaign for 3 weeks now, and there has not been a single battle. They have not gotten into combat at all. The opportunity was there. They chose not to do it. And, I prefer that players play the way that they want to play. With D&D, I think you are very directly going to have to get into combat sooner rather than later. And I don't necessarily like systems that rely on it, which is also why I'm not a big Pathfinder fan. But I do like White Wolf systems. I recently got into Call of Cthulhu. My friend Alex Lucard is running a campaign on that we play very sporadically. But I really like the Call of Cthulhu systems. I think that one's very interesting too, and also heavily does not rely on combat. The downside is it's kind of a meat grinder, and you're expected to go through characters pretty quickly because they go nuts. So
That's kind of why I like Paranoia.
Yeah. Hey
I
Mark.
haven't played Paranoia.
Hey Mark. One day I should come back up to your house. We should play some Heroes Quest, if I can find it.
I have Battle Masters.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, I remember I got that when I was like 10, when I was like 12 or however old I was when it came out. I saw the Heroes Quest advertisement and that was neat, and then I saw the Battle Masters advertisement and I asked for it for Christmas one year and got it, and then like I just ended up throwing it out. But I got it on eBay again like 3 or 4 years ago for like
Nice.
like $20.
I'm hoping
And
I have
it's-
Heroes
it's-
Quest still somewhere downstairs in the basement. I got it for Christmas too, like around 12 years old as well. Problem is I had no one to play with.
Same, big same. I didn't know anybody who was into board games, and now that I know people who are into board games, it's like it's all fucking 4 to 6 player board games. You can't really play Battle Masters with 4 to 6 players. So
Nah, that's true. It was meant
But
for
it's-
like 2 to 3.
2, yeah. But it's fine. Like I said, it's at the end of the day. I personally really enjoy running tabletop games. Hero Quest, I believe specifically.
Is it Hero
Hero
Quest?
Quest.
Let's double check. I actually just watched a
think it's one
video. Toy Galaxy just did a segment on that just a couple months ago. I thought it was called Heroes
But
Quest.
I'm finding that I'm really enjoying putting together tabletop campaigns. Like I'm doing the campaign.
Okay, it's just
for
Hero
Call
Quest.
of Cthulhu. Yeah, I'm doing the Call of Cthulhu campaign, and like I'm just playing as a part of that, and that's fine. But for the werewolf campaign and the vampire campaign, like I've been enjoying planning stuff out. Like the werewolf campaign, I already had like 6 months of story written that I wanted to use, and then for the vampire campaign, like when I started it, I was like, oh god, I'm going to have to fucking figure out like what I'm going to do. I haven't used the vampire systems in forever. Am I going to do okay with this? And like 3 weeks later, I'm like, well, I've got the next 6 months of the fucking story figured out.
Good.
I was honestly thinking about trying to run like a third campaign just because I had a friend who I didn't know if he would be able to play in the werewolf campaign that I'm running. I think he's going to be able to, so that'll be fine. But yeah, like I'm honestly thinking about just trying to put together a third campaign because I'm just enjoying coming up with stuff, but there's only so much I can write for the 2 campaigns that I already have. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
like
right.
I've written like 6 months worth of shit that I want to do for each of these campaigns. Like I don't want to plan it out any further than that, just because it's like fucking 6 months of content. Like I'm gonna be like, man, I want to get to the thing that I want to do in year 2. No, just don't fucking do that shit. Just,
Oh, you think this is awesome? Wait till you're 5.
Yeah.
Oh.
Fucking fuck off.
All right. Well, I gotta continue on to end the show, Mark. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah, but now in regards to me, of course, I'm continually streaming Sunday, Mondays, and Tuesdays. Next PlayStation 3 Virtual Fighter 5 bi-weekly will be on the 5th of July. The next GVN Live will be on July 7th. So you got some pretty good stuff looking forward to. I'm still playing some Phantasy Star Online 2. I'm having a lot of fun. I'm actually leveling up other classes now. I mean, I got like a level 3 summoner, so I'm just running around trying other stuff. So this is fun. It's fine. Everything's fine. It's fine.
How are you?
Yeah. It'd be nice if more of my friends were on one ship, but... Or it'd be nice if I can transfer my character to another ship. Sega.
Yeah, I don't see that happening until around episode 6 release.
Yeah, bastards make. I mean that doesn't make me happy that they finally released the timetable for all the other content, which makes me happy. And
yeah,
we'll
we'll be at the beginning of episode 6, part 1 by the end of the year, which is kind of what I expected.
Yep.
So we should have we'll have fucking aim.
Oh, what a kiss
We'll
ass!
have all the science. We'll have all this like because he's already subbed. It's funny.
It's great.
They'll already have like all of the Scion classes out. Well, they won't have Etol. Thank you. They won't have Etol out by the end of the year. They'll probably have that at the beginning of next year, but they'll have Hero and Phantom released and all of the episode 6 content, so that'll be fine.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to all of that stuff. And with that, on behalf of everybody here on GVN Live, I want to thank everybody on Facebook and Twitch for tuning in. For the people on Facebook, I apologize. This is probably a big shock to you about what we do on this show. So, hope you liked it, and we'll tune back next time. And have yourselves a good night.
Bye, Keith.